Just recording this video in case you do have this type of Samsung French door refrigerator. But my door, as you can see when we opened, this flap here is not going back in. It's supposed to go back in so then that way you can close your door, because otherwise you might be having this problem where the flap stays out and you can't close it. So what I discovered on mine is that there's two different issues that you could potentially have, and I have both. Down here, you're going to see that my stem, or my hinge, has actually broken. So this little piece right here that flips back and forth, you can see it's broken. See how it's cracked? So that actually goes back and forth. And inside of here, you actually have a spring. I did get the replacement springs here off of Amazon, along with this part too. And this is the part that's going to go on the door, and then the spring actually goes in the hole here and clips on the inside, which I'll show you here in a second. First thing you're going to do though is you want to take off the screws here. Once you take off the screws, you're going to see there's a little wire that's behind it that you're just going to go ahead and disconnect. Don't be fearful, it's really easy to go ahead and disconnect the wire, and then obviously you'll reconnect the wire after. And then this whole piece just slides up. So you're going to see you have one up here and one down here. When I bought these off of Amazon, it actually came in a set of two, so if you do have both of them that are broken, that's fine. However, the one on the bottom is the only one that actually has the spring. So I removed those screws. You're going to see when you pop this off now, it gets loose. It just clips up, and then you have this little wire that's behind here. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull the wire out of its cage here a little bit. You're going to see that the piece actually connects right here. You're just going to go ahead and unclip it and pull out. And so come right back. Gotta love doing things one-handed, but again, it's just going to clip right out, and that will go right there. You want to make sure you pull this piece out here so that way it doesn't go back inside the door. You can even get a little piece of tape and just tape it there so that we don't have to worry about it. So as you can see, we got a little bit of Scotch tape, and I just stuck it to the door so then that way at least it stays out. If you get lost in there, it's fine. You're going to have to just get some pliers and pull it back out, but again, it is kind of a, I don't want to say a springing sensation, but it will get tucked back inside the door because when you put it back in, you want it to be inside the door, obviously, so it clips back on. Once you have this piece off, again, just to kind of show everyone, again, my piece is here. You can see that this basically just snapped all the way off and on. You're going to see that there's these little divots that are right in the plastic, and you're going to just use a flathead screwdriver to go ahead and get those loose. When you do use a screwdriver, you want to try to get a flathead screwdriver that's like this. You want to try to find a tiny tip head, as they are going to be fitting right into these spaces right here, to go ahead and kind of pop it out to remove this piece. So once you popped out all the pieces, you're going to see that you basically just pull them aside here. Okay. Now it's going to make kind of like a cracking sound when you're pulling this apart. Don't worry about that. You're not breaking it or snapping the plastic. But you'll see that basically these little grooves here, they go in and out. Once you have that done, you're going to go ahead and wiggle it off. So once you have it out, you'll see this is where the spring is down here. You'll see the spring clips in right down to that other gear that was right there. This is my broken one, so once you take the spring off of it, you're going to go ahead and take this piece right here and remove it. So to remove the cap cover, because we need to get this little piece out here, I'm just going to take a flat screwdriver and you're going to push up on the inner side here. I'm going to roll that cap over. So once you have it loose, you'll see it just comes right off. And then you're able to get out our old piece that we have stuck in there. So as it's coming out, you'll see that the little dongle piece right over there is on that side. So we're going to take our new piece right over here. We're going to fit it in the same way that it's obviously coming out. New piece is in, and we're just going to slide it in. So as we can see, the new hinge part is now in and secure. And we're just going to take the plastic piece, put it back over the cap on top here, the same way that we pulled it off. That little plastic piece that you had, you're just going to get it, you'll snap it until it's basically back and securely on. So now we have this new flange back on it. We can go ahead and we can connect the spring. Now the spring goes in the little hole that's right there. Let me get a better angle here in just a second. As you're putting in, you want to make sure you're putting it in the tiny one and not the larger one that's over there. So this thing will come back through. And as you can see, we can now flip it back side to side, and the spring will bring it back. Now we just need to put the piece back together, and that just basically is just a matter of snapping it back on. So again, you're just going to line everything back on, and again, you're just pushing them in all the way through. This piece, as you can see right here, I'm clipping the one side, so I just need to tuck it underneath. As soon as I tucked it in, you can see they all just snap right back together. Now again, we are going to need to reconnect this wire back into the refrigerator, and then we'll go ahead and we'll latch these pieces back onto the side of the refrigerator, and then we'll go back and we will screw our holes back in to the piece that's right here. When you do reconnect it, I would recommend that you take the tape off and then obviously reconnect it, and as you can see, it's just going to hang. Now you do want to make sure that again you have the one hinge that's just free flowing that's on top, and you want to make sure you have this hinge that's at the bottom. So as you can kind of hear it clipping, it's a little bit tougher to go. That one again has to be at the bottom, so that way when you're installing this again on the side of the fridge, you're installing it on the right side. So again, this clip here will go in there. This will obviously screw back in after you tuck that in, and then again you will clip this onto the bottom. Once it's securely on, you're going to see that under the bottom you have it there. Again, we have our plate again right here. We need to put the two screws back in, and then again the one here at the bottom. So again, you're just sliding back down, and they'll fit right back over. Now that we got our screws back in, it's time to go ahead and test it out. We'll flip that back in as it goes into the fridge. As you can see, we pull it back out, it comes back in, so we don't have that issue anymore. And as we can see, it's sealing on the inside over here. So if I open up this side of the fridge, we can see that it's closing. That's it.